Okay, so from a timing point of view,
I will make sure that we're done. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, Nathan gave me the honor of introducing him, which is always a pleasure for me. I don't really need to tell everybody about edification in this group. What an incredible opportunity we have to hear from Nathan. He has to leave at 11:30, so we're going to give him, he has to leave and we have to respect that time, so we have very little time. We're going to make sure that we get everything that he has to share with us out quickly, and then we'll do a group picture, only one camera, okay? So we want one good camera, one good picture. With technology today, we'll be able to share it on Facebook and everything else, all right? Now, I told you guys this last night, those of you that were sitting at the fire with me. I've been here now for 9 years, and I have the greatest sponsor. Anybody that knows me knows how much I love my sponsor, how grateful I am for him. He's a real sponsor. In nearly 10 years, I have never seen him this good. He's always been the best. He's always been the clearest. He's always been full of the most integrity, honor, and energy. But I've never seen him like this. So without further ado, give him tons of energy with a big clap, and let's listen to Nathan Ricks.
Thank you, that's great. All right, so we don't have a whole bunch of time, so what I thought we would do is just jump right in today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think will happen with Gamma when Gamma launches next year, okay? So what I'm focused on for the next 12 months is the launch of Gamma.
Arról fog beszélni, hogy mit gondol ő a gammának a piacra kerüléséről.
You all know the 5-point presentation, so I'm going to show you this presentation, which will likely be approved by New Skin Legal by Wednesday this week, and this is the presentation that we will be using throughout all of North America for the next 12 months. Okay, when we speak about these areas, we talk about trends, we talk about products and science, company, compensation, timing, and I think our timing is better than ever. Okay. This, of course, is geared for the United States and Canadian market. So if I were you guys, I would get these same statistics that I'm going to show you next for Europe. I'd get those. I'm sure they're available. In America, as you've probably noticed the last few days that you've been here, there's a lot of heavy people. Yeah, it's really a sad, sad situation, actually. We have tremendous childhood obesity in this country. Are you aware what happens with a heavy child? If children are too heavy, they're just growing their bones, they're just forming their body at that young age. And what happens is the arches of their feet collapse because of too much weight. So their feet go down. This guy knows all about foot. So your feet collapse, right? And that takes the knees, and when the feet collapse, the knees go together and they start to hit. So they're walking like this. And that pushes the hips out. So the feet go down, the knees go together, so they look like this. That's how their body looks, right up to their hips. And they actually grow that way. And because the parents didn't get serious enough about the weight on their child, the child is literally deformed for the rest of his life. And when they go to their exercise class at school and the coach says, you know, let's run a lap, let's go around the track, It hurts them. They go, it hurts, and it really does hurt them because their bones are all formed wrong.
A tornaóra elkérjük őket, hogy fussanak egy kört, és mondják, hogy ez az nekünk ez fáj, nehéz.
We have 10-year-olds with cardiovascular disease.
Van ugye 10 éves, amelyik érrendszeri betegsége van.
We're looking at the first generation that may have a shorter lifespan than their parents.
Látjuk, hogy van egy ilyen generáció, aminek rövidebb életkora lehet, mint a szüleinek.
So this is a real problem in North America and Europe today and Asia today, right?
Ez egy valós probléma Észak-Amerikában, Európában és Ázsiában.
Which country in the world has the fastest growing rate of obesity right now?
Melyik országban a leggyorsabban növekszik ez a túlsúlyos betegség?
Yeah. Some people say America, but we're already fat here. Okay? They're getting fat faster, right? In China today.
Kínában a leggyorsabban növekszik.
All right.
Az obesity ez egy elhízás, hanem ez már betegség.
I apologize for this projector. It's like losing it. Okay. So I will have that replaced this week. I'm going to show you a map of the United States in just a moment. And in that map, you'll see there's white states where there's no data of obesity. This is a map of obesity. It's going to show you light blue, which is less than 10% obesity. It's going to show you this blue, which is 10 to 15% obesity. Okay? Dark blue, 15 to 20, 10, 20 to 25%. Red is 25 to 30, and dark red is 30 or more.
Az Amerika térképét fogom megmutatni, és azok a színek mutatják, hogy azon a területeken mennyi az elhízásos túlsúlyos betegségnek az aránya.
1985. Most of the country, no data or less than 10%. Some of these states, 15 to 20% obesity. You understand? I'm going to go 10 years. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the change in the obesity rate in these states in 10 years. Now you've got half of the country 15 to 20% obese in just 10 years, from 1985 to 1995. Okay, now I'm going to go 10 more years.
Következő 10 évben ez történt, és ez még csak 2005-nél vagyunk.
Now we have only 3 states that are still blue. Everything else is now 20 to 25% obese. And we're talking these 3 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, and West Virginia, that are more than 30% obese.
Ezeken a részeken már több mint 30% a piros pont.
Here's the last 5 years.
Az utolsó 5 év.
No blue. No blue. Almost this whole half the country, almost all 30% or more of the population is obese.
Ezeken a részeken több mint a populáció 30%-a.
You guys need to get a map of the EU, and you need to find this data so you can show it graphically year after year, just like this. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very similar. All right. You need to know, I have a lot of energy on this topic because I used to be 75 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Whoa. 40 kilos. 35 kilos.
So 20 plus years ago, more than 20 years ago, I lost 75 pounds. And what I'm most happy about is I've kept it off for more than 20 years.
Tehát a 10 évvel ezelőtt 30 kilót veszítettem.
There's water in that refrigerator, you guys. Right over there. Yeah, if you need water, grab it.
Please drop here.
Okay.
Would you guys?
So everybody understands the magnitude of the problem. The problem is this.
A problémáknak a súlyosságát.
When you talk about heart disease, cancer, diabetes. You know, you talk about all the diseases that come that are obesity related. It'll finish off America. It'll bankrupt us. We can't afford all these kinds of diseases because of this rapid change in obesity.
A rákos problémáknak, a élelmiszeri problémáknak és minden illető betegségek, mindegyiknek van kapcsolata a túlsúlyos betegséggel.
Okay? So, obviously, what people have tried in the past to lose weight is not working. This is pretty obvious, right?
Nyilvánvalóan ez mutatja, hogy azok a próbálkozások a súlyvesztésre, amik a múltban történtek, azok nem voltak sikeresek, és ezek egyre rosszabb és rosszabb lesz a helyzet.
So what we need is we need a new approach to weight loss, right?
Amire szükségük van egy új megközelítésre.
And this is what Nu Skin's been working on now with LifeGen for the last year and a half.
Ez az, amin a LifeGen és Nu Skin dolgozik az utolsó másfél évben.
Okay? This is Time Magazine 14 months ago. They say why your DNA is not your destiny. In the past, people would say, my parents are heavy, so I'm going to be fat. It's just in my DNA. There's nothing I can do about it.
A régi paradigma az volt, hogy a szülőd elhízott volt, akkor te is elhízott leszel, és én nem tehetek semmit ezért.
Well, that's not true. This subtitle here is right here. The new science of epigenetics reveals how the choices you make can change your genes.
Felfedi azt, hogy tulajdonképpen neked lehetőséged van arra, hogy eldöntsd, vagy megváltoztasd a génjeid működését.
The decoding of the human genome, probably the greatest discovery of our time.
A géntérkép felfedezése a legnagyobb felfedezés volt ezekben az időkben.
That was a decade ago. 10 years ago we finished the decoding.
10 évvel ezelőtt volt, hogy a...
What's been going on the last 10 years?
Mi történt az utolsó 10 évben?
Discovery of the epigenome.
Felfedezték az epigenetikát.
Epa means above. Right? So the epigenome sits on top of your DNA.
Az epigenetika az a DNS fölött áll.
And it regulates the expression of your DNA into your tissues of your body.
Szabályozza a gének működését a szövetekben, a szervezetben.
Everyone in this room has the exact same DNA code as you had the day you were born. That hasn't changed.
Mindenkinek ugyanolyan DNS kódja van ebben a szobában, mint akkor, amikor megszületett.
So why do we change as we get older? We have the same code.
Akkor ha ugyanaz a kódunk, akkor miért változunk?
It's because the interaction with our environment regulates through the epigenome how our DNA expresses itself. All of the factors, the food, the air, the stress levels, our thoughts, everything influences the expression of our DNA.
Minden, ami körülvesz minket, az hatással van a génjeink működésére. Ez szabályozza a génjeink működésére.
When you're young, when you're in your late teens or early 20s, you can eat almost whatever you want, and it doesn't seem to make much difference.
Amikor fiatal voltál a 10 évek végén, vagy a 20-as évek elején, bármi tehettél, nem volt semmi probléma.
But if you try to eat the same way when you're in your 40s or 50s, totally different result. Stack on the fat, right? So something changes in our bodies as we get older in terms of fat metabolism and fat storage. The way our body deals with that changes.
Valami történik a szervezetünkben, a zsírlebontó képességgel és a zsírháztartásunkkal.
Okay, so what is LifeGen technology all about?
Miről is szól tulajdonképpen a LifeGen technology?
You all know Nu Skin purchased LifeGen a year ago. They bought the whole thing.
Mindannyian tudjátok, hogy a Nu Skin megvásárolta a LifeGen.
LifeGen is all about genetic research. They've been doing it longer than anybody, 35 years.
A lágyzsír az a génkutatásról szól, és régóta csinálják, mint bárki a világon, több mint 35 éve.
We have taken LifeGen technology and we've named it ageLOC, right? That's the brand name that we've assigned to this technology we get from LifeGen.
Az a technológia, amit a lágyzsírtól kaptunk, azt úgy neveztük el, hogy ageLOC.
We call it ageLOC technology, right? ageLOC technology is all about identifying the genes in the body and resetting those genes to act more like they did when you were young.
Arra van az ageLOC technológia, hogy beazonosítjuk ezeket a géneket, és újraindítsuk őket, hogy úgy működjenek, ahogy fiatalon lettek.
And the reason this is a great collaboration between LifeGen and New Skin scientists is LifeGen does science for science sake. You know, they're just pure research, heads down, hardcore scientists, right? Our scientists are all about taking research and turning it into products that people can actually use.
Az együttműködés a lágyzsírnak és a Nuszkinak arról szól, hogy a lágyzsír a genetika tudományában jó is, és tulajdonképpen csak ebben foglalkozik, és a Nuszkinak abban van szerepe, hogy ezt a tudományt tulajdonképpen egy termékformába kerüljön, tehát termékben tudjon megjelenni.
So all the New Skin scientists have been able to take this ageLOC technology and start to put it into New Skin products so that it can help us to reset those youth gene clusters, right?
Az összes Nuszkin tudós képes volt ezt az ageLOC technológiát használni és alkalmazni a termékek gyártásánál.
Now ageLOC is a $1 billion brand, $1 billion in the last 2 years of ageLOC sales.
ageLOC egy $1 milliárd üzleté vált.
Frankly, ageLOC science isn't on trial anymore. It's already proven itself. It's proven itself in the most harsh place, and that's the marketplace.
Ez most már nem, ez már kiderült, hogy ez nem egy próbálkozás, hanem ez egy szigorú határozott tényekről beszélünk, és ez nem egy kérdés már a jövő tekintetében.
So we have these amazing products for the outside, right?
Nagyon termékeink vannak a külsőn.
We got amazing products for the inside. And I want to spend just a couple minutes on the biophotonic scanner and LifePak, and I want to talk for a moment about why that is such an important link to weight loss.
Fogok egy párszor beszélni a szkennerről, és azt fogom elmagyarázni, hogy milyen kapcsolata van ennek a súlycsökkentéssel.
All right, so everybody here knows that we measure antioxidants with the biophotonic scanner.
Mindenki tudja, hogy a biofoton szkennerrel antioxidást mérünk.
What kind of antioxidants?
Milyen fajta antioxidáns?
Carotenoid antioxidants, right? These are fat-soluble antioxidants. They're fat-soluble. We call them lipophilic. Lipids means fat, right?
Csak a zsír által szívedik föl.
Okay?
Tehát ott találja az ember a testében, a zsírében. Erről fog beszélni.
As opposed to hydrophilic or water-soluble antioxidants like vitamin C.
Vannak valamivel a vízben oldódó és a zsírben oldódó vitaminok, és a karoténok azok a zsír.
If I take a lot of vitamin C, it doesn't matter so much because I can just urinate it out of my body. It'll be gone in 24 hours.
Hogyha nagyon sok C-vitamint szedsz, túl sokat nem csinál szervezeteddel, mert a vízzel távozik nagyon gyorsan a szervezetedből.
But lipophilic or fat-soluble antioxidants, you have to be careful because they don't just go away. They stay in your tissue a long time.
Zsírba oldódó vitaminokkal, mert ezek a szervezetedben fognak maradni, és ezért sokkal lassabban oldódnak.
All right. So when we scan people with the biophotonic scanner, if they are overweight or obese, what happens to their scan score?
Igen, hogyha mi történik akkor, hogy az embereket vérünk.
Why? Why is it so much lower?
A szkenner értékük nekik sokkal alacsonyabb.
Okay. human beings only consume so many antioxidants a day through their food.
Az emberek sok
It's a finite amount.
használnak naponta, amit a szájukon keresztül.
Just because somebody's heavy doesn't mean they eat 20 servings a day of fruits and vegetables, right? Usually they don't.
Aki súlyosabb testelen
Most humans eat 3, maybe 4 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. 3 or 4. That's all. Okay? So there's a finite amount, whether you're big or whether you're normal weight. It's just what people eat. Okay? If you're fat, if you're obese, you take that same amount of antioxidants and you disperse them over a larger area. Because they're fat soluble, they go into the fatty tissue. And what happens when people lose body fat and they start to lose weight is they shrink the area to a smaller size. So they concentrate more of those fat-soluble antioxidants in a smaller area, so the score goes up.
Akkor ugyanannak a mennyiségnek egy sokkal kisebb felszívódási koncentrációja van, területe, ezért sokkal hatékonyabb lesz.
So these are questions I've had in my mind for a lot of years. I've asked myself the question, why do obese people have more cancer?
Az volt az én kérdésem, hogy a túlsúlyos embereknek miért van gyakrabban
I'm sure there's many reasons why, okay? Probably many reasons that I don't even understand. But I have to ask myself, and this is just me speaking, this is not New Skin or anybody else, okay? If people are diluting the concentration of antioxidants in their tissues because they're spreading it over a big area, and those levels are just not high enough to protect against the onslaught of free radical activity every day, could that be a contributing factor?
Yes.
And when people start to lose body fat, they get down to a normal weight, their cancer levels drop, you know?
Azáltal, hogy súlyosak, és azáltal, hogy a sokkal nagyobb zsírfelület van, ezáltal kevésbé tudja megvédeni a sejteket a szabadja támadástól.
So once we take this gamma project and we're launching gamma and weight loss all over the world, it's an even stronger need for scanner scores to be understood and for people to be supplementing, because they're likely reducing their food intake. They need to be supplementing those nutrients. This is tiring. I know it's hard to figure out how to say it all.
Most jóval fontosabb, hogy az emberek arra figyeljenek, hogy mennyit vesznek be, és tudják azt pontosan, hogy milyen szinteken állnak. Tehát jobban kéne figyelni arra az étkezési rendszerükre, még a táplálék kiegészítő rendszerükre. Tehát ennyi. Nagyon jól csinálod egyébként.
All right. So that's just a little aside, okay? So for the past year plus, New Skin scientists have been working on a weight management system that is codenamed Gamma. That's not the name of the product, but that's what the scientists have been calling it, okay? Based on gene expression science. We're the first ones in the world to do this.
Ez ezt a világ első genetikus terméke, aminek gamma néven, nem gamma néven kerül majd a forgalomba. Ez egyelőre ez a kód neve, és az utolsó néhány évben ezen dolgozik, amit ez elkészül.
That's what you call a new approach. No one's ever done it before.
Ezt úgy hívjuk, hogy új megközelítés.
You need to capture this data for Europe, but here's the data for North America.
Ugyanezeket az adatokat meg kell Európára csinálni.
Between US and Canada, there's 360 million people. The latest report a month ago suggests 69% are overweight or obese. 69% of the population.
Ennek a populációnak a 60%, Kanada és Amerika 69%-a túlsúlyos.
That's 248 million people that need the product right now. They need it today.
Nekik most van szükségük a termékre azonnal.
In North America, you can literally go down any street, knock on every door. There's someone in every house that needs the product.
Észak-Amerikába bemehetni, lekopoghatnál minden házba, és azonnal erre a termékre szükség van.
Okay?
My sponsors. I'm texting everybody that needs to be here.
Okay. If one person out of every 2,000 people in the overweight population were to purchase Gamma at the launch, that would be $150 million in volume just in North America.
Hogyha csak minden 2000 ember vásárolna meg a gammát, akkor az lenne $150 millió Észak-Amerikában.
So to put that in perspective, let's say you go to any high school. Any high school. High schools have about 2,000 kids usually. Can we get one person out of every high school to do Gamma?
Ha bármelyik ilyen főiskolára bemegyünk, hogy 2000 ember van általában, és akkor csak egy ember van, aki elhízott.
That would be, almost 150 million in volume. And you can see all those heavy people. Look at them. Just one, that's all we need. Okay? All right, so we have a problem in this world, right? Some countries have a lot of heavy people. They're overweight, millions, right? Too much food.
Nagyon sok országnak a túlsúlyosak az emberei, vagy a túlsúlyosak az emberek is, ugye vannak országok, ahol meg éheznek az emberek.
In the old days, we had to chase food and kill it so we could survive, right?
Régen
Hunted, chase it.
harcoltunk az ételért, hogy túléljünk.
Today, food chases us. It's on every corner, it's everywhere.
Az étel fog meg minket.
And that's why we have this growing obesity problem all over the world.
Ezért van ez az óriási elhízásos probléma az egész
Write this
világon.
one down. Write this one down.
Írd le ezt.
This year, for the first time in history,
Ebben az évben először
more people will die from obesity-related diseases than children will die from starvation.
Ebben az évben először, figyelj, ebben az évben először fog meghalni több ember a túlsúlyosság következtében, mint ahány gyerek meghal éhhalálban.
That's never happened before.
Ez soha nem történt.
There's always been millions of children starving around the world, but never as many people dying from being fat as people being
Milliók halnak meg a világban éhezésben gyerekek, és ebben az évben többen halnak meg ebben a problémával.
Okay, so we've got millions overweight, we've got millions hungry, right? This teeter-totter's been going back and forth. Can't we balance the scale?
Ki tudjuk ezt az egyensúlytalanságot egyenlíteni.
So, in North America, what they're going to do, I don't know if this will happen in Europe, but in this marketplace, if people get on 3 months supply, which Gamma will only be available in a 90-day package. You'll have to buy 3 months and say, I'm serious about losing weight. Okay?
Minimum 3 hónapos csomagban lehet kapni a gammát, és én komolyan veszem azt, hogy súlyt veszítsen.
Okay? If you buy 3 packages, 3 months supply, or today, if I get on the program and you're my friend and you join and you're my friend and you do it with me and all 3 of us are going to lose weight together, so we have 3 packages here, the new skin will feed a meal a day for a month to a child. They'll just donate the food. If 3 of us decide to lose weight,
ha valaki eldönti, hogy ezt a 3 csomagot megvásárolja, akkor pluszként egy ilyen ételcsomagot juttat el az éhezőknek.
So you just get 3 people together who want to do this, or when Gamma comes out, you buy your 90-day supply. You know that every 90-day package is going to feed a child a meal a day for a month.
Is this only available for this place?
It's just North America right now, so you guys should talk to Mikhail Linder. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Just 3 packages, 3 times 3 months.
That would be 3 children for a month.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
1 package is 1 month.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
One 3 months package. One
If I buy one
Yeah.
package, New Skin donates 10 meals.
Yeah.
If you buy a package and you also buy a package, 3 of us do it together, then they donate 30 meals.
Yeah.
So they feed a child a day for a month.
Okay.
Is that great?
Yeah.
What we have is we have too much food over here, not enough food over here. So with this program, okay, we're going to be able to push the food over here and get it where it's needed. So we stop killing ourselves and we save them. Okay? So there's a meal a day for a month right there. Now, we're going to change this slide so it's just a bowl. It's not a whole package of meals. Okay, that'll be changed later today, where we have the bowl. Okay? All right, so we're now closing on 270. We've done more than 270 million meals. Projection is by March next year it'll be over 300 million meals.
Közelítünk a 270 millió ételadatot, és márciusban el fogjuk érni a 300 millió.
Can I speak about a new concept you've not really heard about before? It's called entry points.
Fogok beszélni egy új koncepcióról, amit úgy hívnak,
We
hogy
need a good Hungarian and Romanian name for entry
belépési
points.
pont, entry point.
Okay, so over my 23 years of experience with New Skin, I have observed that there's different times where people have an entry. They've got a way to get into the market that they're trying to get into, and it's very, very potent during those particular points, okay? So to describe it maybe a little better, not all time is equal in New Skin, right? Sometimes it's more important than other times.
A 22 éve alatt észrevettem, hogy az emberek különböző időszakokban lépnek be az üzletbe, és nem minden időszak egyforma.
Okay? My sponsor, Craig Tillotson, he has a famous quote that I've never forgotten my whole 23 years, okay? He says, successful distributors compress more activity into shorter time frames and critical junctures in their business career. Now that's a long quote. Yeah. Successful distributors compress more activity into shorter time frames at critical junctures in their business career.
A sikeres üzletépítő az az aktivitását egy bizonyos időszakra fókuszálja, persze amikor a megfelelő időszak van.
Basta și scriu pot compresa.
Igen, és több sikert tud elérni.
So here's the first entry point. New Skin started in 1984 right here in Utah, okay, in America, all right? By 1989, I joined the company in 1989.
Az egyik ilyen belépési pont lett az, amikor egy ország megnyílt.
We were just in one country, okay? In 1990, at the end of 1990, New Skin said, we're going to open the country of Canada for the New Skin opportunity. Our neighbor next door, we're going to open Canada. Now some of us didn't quite understand what that was going to mean, opening Canada. We didn't understand.
Valahányan nem értették meg azt, hogy ez mekkora lehetőség, hogy egy új piacot lehet.
Okay?
Nyílik meg.
In my mind, I thought, okay, Canada, 30 million people, well, that's kind of like California, no big deal.
Azért ezért gondolkodásomban az, hogy Kanada 30 millió ember, hát ennyi van Kalifornia, miért egy ilyen nagy
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay. But some people understood what it meant. And one person, specifically in my downline, said, I'm going to work on Canada. His name's Anthony Antonelli. Okay? He lived in Washington, D.C. So he started traveling up to Toronto and trying to meet people. And he met a lady who was just a dynamo. Okay? When the country opened, she became the first team elite in Canada. She captured a huge piece of the Canadian business that then spread to other countries. And he made millions and millions and millions of dollars because of Canada.
Tehát volt egy alsóvonal, aki ezt megértette, és ő talált Kanadában valaki, aki egy ilyen dinamó volt, és dolgozott és ő ezt a és milliókat csinált ebből, hogy hogy ő volt ott az ország nyitásánál.
Anthony has not been active in Nu Skin for 7 years. He hasn't done anything. He's just been taking his check.
Ő már 7 éve van.
He met with me a week ago Friday, then he went on my entire road trip 2 weeks ago with me to every one of those meetings, and he's a wild man. He is fully engaged because of Gamma. He sees what's going to happen.
7 éve nem dolgozik, és most újra itt van a
7 éve.
2 éve?
Hát
7 év.
Okay?
Most a gamma miatt újra teljesen...
Now, I'm kind of slow sometimes. I don't usually catch on right away sometimes. So it took me 5 countries before I really understood what was going to happen with these markets. So, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, then Japan. Now, I knew Japan was going to be a big market. I worked for over a year on Japan before Japan actually opened.
Több mint egy évet dolgoztam azon, már Japánban mielőtt Japán megnyílt.
I invested more than $150,000 of my own money in plane tickets, hotels, traveling back and forth many times to Japan.
Több mint $150,000 fektettem különböző személyes költségeimben, mielőtt ez a megnyitás történt.
And it was challenging.
Ez egy nagyon kihívásos volt idő.
You're trying to communicate with a language you don't speak.
Próbáltál egy nyelven beszélni, nem beszélni.
Staying in very expensive hotels. They're all expensive over there.
Mindig nagyon drága hotelok.
Right? Eating food you don't understand. Right? And you have no way to get any money that whole time. There's no return. You're just pushing money in. The whole time there's nothing coming back.
Csak nyomod bele a pénzt, nyomod bele, és semmi nem jön vissza.
It's just really difficult to try to do other countries, right?
Nagyon nehéz egy
But nevertheless, it turned out we hit the market perfect timing. Their economy was crashing, their stock market was crashing, good people were available, and we were able to recruit.
Mindenek ellenére mi megtaláltuk azt a pontot, amikor pont meg kellett ezt az országot nyitni, amikor a krízis volt, és az emberek kerestek, és nyitottak voltak arra, hogy új lehetőséggel.
Remember, when the economy is difficult, we do better. We can recruit a lot better, right?
A gazdaság az rossz, akkor mi jobban működünk.
People that would not normally be looking are looking. Right?
Az emberek másképp nézik a dolgokat.
When Japan opened, it was a huge win on our part.
Amikor Japán megnyílt, az egy nagy győzelem volt.
I watched some people get a half of 1% and change their whole life financially. A half of 1%. One half of 1%.
1%-nak a felét kaptak a piacból, és megváltoztatták az egész védet.
I watched some people get only 1% and change their whole life. I watched people get 3%. I watched some people get 5% of that market. I watched one man get over 50% of that market.
A lényeg az volt, hogy már a fél százalék a piacos is egy ember életét óriásian megváltoztatta, és semmi.
And that person is the highest paid distributor in Nu Skin history. Still. Coming up on $100 million of commissions.
Több mint 100 millió.
He's been in now, we've been open there 19 years, be 20 years next year. Coming up on 100, not quite to 100 yet. Okay, so these markets, I've watched this happen in other places. I've watched it happen in Hungary. Some of you in Hungary participated in the beginning while that was growing. And same thing with Romania, same thing with Thailand, same thing with Korea, same thing with all these markets. I've watched people who get positioned, they get serious when a country opens, they invest the time, the money, they do it for a year, 2 years with no return, and then finally they get a return if they get the right people.
Igen, ez történik az összes országban, láttam azt különböző országok megnyitásánál, hogy mi történt, és igen, befektetés, és egyszer csak úgy megjön minden.
That's an obvious entry point. New country openings are obvious entry points where new people can get in, make the transition, get a nice income stream coming for the rest of their life.
Ilyenkor jönnek az új emberek, és akkor néhányan megcsinálják az életüket.
Then there became a second type of entry point, and that had to do with technologies.
A második fajta belépési pont az a
New Scan
technológiák.
started making a lot of cash. They had a lot of excess cash every year, and they were willing to take the cash and buy very unique technologies that were very expensive and give them to the distributor base, right?
Sok pénzzel rendelkezett, és hajlandó volt ezt a pénzt befektetni technológiákba, és később a disztribútorok rendelkezésére bocsájtott.
There are distributors who saw the biophotonic scanner as their entry point into NewScan. They could see themselves coming from other careers and other companies and making the transition and getting in because that was going to change the game in nutrition.
Igen, sok olyan disztribútor volt, aki a szkenner miatt jött az üzletbe, mert látták azt, hogy ez az, ami megváltoztatja a játékszabályokat az étrendkiegészítő piacán.
And there are distributors who've made millions and millions, tens of millions already with the biophotonic scanner.
És vannak üzletépítők, akik nagyon sok milliót csináltak a biophotonic
The Galvanic Spa, 2 patents on that. NewScan acquired that technology for millions of dollars, right? And there's distributor groups who've made millions and millions of dollars just on that technology. That's what they got into and that's what they promoted. Alan McGowan, a whole bunch of those people.
És ezt is a disztribúcióra bocsájtotta, és ő nagyon sokat,
I mean,
milliókat kerestek ebből.
NewScan's invested more than $80 million in the scanner technology, and you probably saw the S3 scanner. The next generation of scanner is on its way, okay? They continue to invest in that technology.
$80 millió ebbe a projektbe bele investáltak, és valószínűleg fogjátok látni, hogy megint itt van egy folyamatosan fejlesztik ezt a projektet.
There are distributors who've made millions of dollars on ageLOC technology now. Some of them $1 million in a single month.
Nagyon sok disztribútor van, majd az ageLOC technológiából milliókat csináltak, és vannak olyanok, akik ezt a $1 millió egy hónap alatt megcsinálták.
So that became another way. Technology acquisition was another way to create entry points for distributors to get in, to make their transition over here.
Hát a technológiáknak a megszerzése az is egy nagyon komoly belépési pont, vagy egy komoly ok a szponzorálásra.
Now, the latest one, the latest entry point to show up has to do with LTOs, or limited time offers.
Limited time.
Pre-launch.
Okay?
Korlátozott idejű ajánlat, igen.
Okay. So this has been something that has proven to be really successful because you can make money the whole time leading up to it. It's not like a country where you can't make anything. You do it in your own language, you speak your own tongue, stay in your own house, and the costs are a lot lower, and yet you can get bigger results.
Hát ez is ugye már bizonyított, és
de nem kell annyit befektetni időbe, pénzbe, mint minden. Otthon maradhatsz, és végig kereshetsz pénzt.
Igen, sokkal rövid idő alatt tudsz pénzt csinálni erre a módszerrel.
It's hard translating, isn't it? It makes you appreciate those guys who can just rip it out hour after hour. It's incredible.
But we never want Roby to be that guy because he's doing too good doing the other stuff.
This concept of the LTO was invented in Korea.
Ez a limitált elérésű ajánlat, ez korábban indult először.
10 years ago, the Korean leaders, a few of them, said, you know what? we have an idea. We want to do something different with these new product introductions than is normally done by the company.
10 évvel ezelőtt néhány korai vezető azt mondta, hogy nekünk van egy új ötletünk arra, hogy az új termék hogy kerüljön a piacra.
Every year, Nu Skin introduces some new products. Pretty much every year at the convention there's new products, right?
Minden évben a Nu Skin bemutatott egy új terméket.
And the way they normally do it is they'll have the convention announcement, they'll have some talks and scientists talking about the products, and then the products are available in the product store at the convention, people buy some of those products, and then it just goes into the catalog, and that's the way it was for years and years and years. That's how they would launch products.
Éveken keresztül a normális újságszerek az volt, hogy mindig a világ vagy a konferenciát bemutatták egy tudományos beszéddel, és katalógusok bekerült a katalógusba, és tulajdonképpen a raktárakból megvásárolható volt a termék.
These handful of leaders in Korea said, let's not do that anymore. Let's do it differently. And so they worked with the company in Korea, the management and the distributor leaders, and they said, we want to start teaching about the new product a year in advance. We want to start educating, teaching, talking about the product, getting people excited about the new product until it launches.
Néhány ázsiai vezető, a cég corporate vezetőivel azt mondták, hogy erről a termékről akarunk egy évvel előtt beszélni, azért, hogy megtanítjuk az embereknek, hogy mi ez a termék, mire az a termék az piacra kerül.
And then when it launches, we're only going to make the product available for a week or maybe 2 weeks. And then that's going to be it. Then we'll pull the product back from the market where no one can order it for up to 6 months.
És mi ezt a terméket csak 1 vagy 2 hétre biztosítjuk a piacnak, és utána vége van, és 6 hónapig nem tudnak hozzájutni ez a termékhez.
And so all those distributors who were educated about this coming product, they would say to themselves, well, I need to buy enough for me because I'm going to want the product for the next 6 months. I have this other person in my house who needs the product also, so that's more I need to buy. And undoubtedly, I'm going to run into customers over the next 6 months that will want to buy this product that people are talking about, so I need to get some of that supply for myself.
És ez a fajta termékvezetés megértette velük azt, hogy neki a terméket kell vásárolni maguknak, a környezetüknek, illetve a fogyasztóiknak, és investáltak ebbe, tehát másképp álltak a
So this had the effect of taking product orders that would have normally been strung out over 6 or 12 months period of time and compressing those into the LTO, into a week or 2 weeks.
Tulajdonképpen, amit történt egy éven keresztül, azt összesűrítették arra az egy
This created a surge of volume in that short window of time and also created a surge of bonus checks.
És ez egy óriási mennyiséget hozott létre, és ennek megfelelően persze egy óriási kifizetést egy nagyon rövid idő belül.
And now these distributors who participated had a story to tell. They could say, look at this. Look what happened from this, right?
Ez nagyon jó volt, mert a disztribútoroknak volt sztoriuk, amiről beszéljenek, hogy nézd meg, hát mi van itt, mit csináltunk, mennyit kerestünk.
And that process creates tremendous confidence, right? People are like, wow, look at that.
És ez a folyamat egy nagyon magas bizalmat hozott létre, hogy nézd meg itt mi van, és ez...
Not only was this a great strategy for distributor groups, right? But it was also better for Nu Skin Company.
Tulajdonképpen ez nagyon jó a disztribútoroknak, és hát tulajdonképpen ugyanennyire jó a Nu Skinnak, mint a
The reason it's better for Nu Skin is that instead of like a 5 to 10% adoption rate of a new product in the distributor force, by teaching for a year in advance, they were getting 40 and 50% adoption rates of new products in Korea. And if you look at Korea's average executive group volumes, they're the highest in the world. Because for 10 years they've taught people about all these products and people just incorporated them and adopted the usage. Sorry.
Ez a fajta termékvezetés tulajdonképpen nagyon megemelte az exekutív átlag forgalmát. És igen, ez miatt, hogy már 10 éve csinálja, 10 éve a legmagasabb világon.
Okay? So the company, for the research, the effort to try to build new products, would actually get a lot greater adoption, a lot more movement of that product into the distributor force, more consistent consumption every month of more products, higher group volumes, which sustain the comp plan even better, and the whole thing really worked.
Ezt mondod, nagyon jó! Nagyon jó! Állatok, ezt mondod, dolgozni kell most, ez az!
Tulajdonképpen mindent hozzá tudtak ehhez igazítani, és ez mindenkinek együtt ez sokkal jobban működött.
Ez egy forrás, egy óriási folyás.
The first year they did this in Korea, a handful of leaders participated and said, we see this, we want to work this strategy, this LTO. Most of the leaders said, we're not going to do that. That's a gimmick. They're just trying to get more volume. We're just going to, we'll wait till it's in the catalog, then we'll buy it. What do you think happened when that first LTO hit? The volume flushed, the checks went up, the company was happy, and all of a sudden, these people were the only ones with the products, and all the ones who sat over here had no products and had to wait 6 months.
Igen, csak néhányan választották ezt a fajta bevezetést, és hát ugye ők jártak jól, mert tulajdonképpen nekik volt termékük is, azok, akik nem hittek ebbe, azoknak nem volt termékük.
So the next year, more leaders participated. Said, hey, we need to be in that LTO. And the next year, more leaders. Now, all the leaders participate. Everybody does the same thing.
Évről évre több és több vezető vett részt ebben a programon, most meg már tulajdonképpen mindenki.
So, the effect over the last 10 years is that Korea has used the LTO entry point as their strategy to just ratchet the market, just crank it up, crank it up, crank it up, crank it up, crank it up like that. They've used it to the point that last year Korea did more volume than all of North America.
Ezeket a módszereket minden évben arra használták, hogy betörtek vele a piacra, és mindig volt egy igen.
How many people in Korea?
40 million.
45 million people in the whole country. How many people in North America? Come on, I already told you. We have 60 million people, right? Almost 9 times more people, and they're doing more than us. That's embarrassing.
Egy kilencede a korai piac, mint az észak-amerikai piac, és többet csinál a korai piac, mint az észak-amerikai piac.
We are going to use the LTO strategy in North America to ratchet this thing to more than $1 billion. You watch. That's what we're going to do.
Mi is fogjuk ezt használni az Észak-Amerikával, és meg fogjátok látni, hogy ez $1 millió felé fog menni.
After Korea, Southeast Asia started watching Korea. They said, why don't we do those here? They've done 3 of them now. China started watching Korea and said, we should do the LTOs here. They've done 3 of them now. Okay? The first one was 5 million. The second one was 17 million. The one they just completed, more than 100 million.
100 million.
Az első millió volt, a második a harmadik az már több mint 100 millió.
17 million,
17
more than 100 million.
több mint 100 millió.
Okay?
Gamma will be.
How big will Gamma be?
More than 7.
Remember, all the LTOs so far in the world have just been regional LTOs. Just a region, just a region, just a region. Because New Skin couldn't get enough supply to do everybody all at once, right? Because they become very powerful.
Minden LTO az csak régiókra vonatkozott, mert a New-Skinnek ez egy feladat volt a termékek szállítása.
Congratulations on a really successful R-squared LTO. That's your first
Dominated
one.
Europe.
That's your first one, so now you're starting to understand, right? What's going to happen? When is the launch of Gamma?
Gratulálok nektek az R4 bevezetéséért.
October 24th of 2013 is the day.
This is for American Plus.
Október 24-e 2013 a Gamma Launch.
So, what we're talking about, okay, today's Monday, right? Today's the 5th day of November, right? We're talking about 50 weeks and 3 days from right now. 50 weeks and 3 days from right now.
57 és 3 napon vissza a mai naptól odáig.
You need to have your plan for the next 50 weeks. Everybody in this room, if you don't know what you're going to
Meg kell
do,
csinálnod a
you can't
tervedet a
have
következő 50
then
évre.
you're behind. You need to get up to speed, okay?
Gyorsíts fel magad és
There will be huge lines of people on this day
ezen a napon
wanting to get their hands on a product that's never been available before. The first gene expression approach to weight loss, right?
ez lesz az első genetikai megközelítésű testsúly csökkentő
Gamma will be the first global LTO to ever happen. And what that means is it will launch worldwide all at the same time. That's what's
Ez
going to
lesz
happen.
az első, a Gamma lesz az első olyan LTO a világon, amit egyszerre megy a piacra minden.
So what are the biggest product launches of all time? Well, when Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince went into the movie theaters, they did $394 million that first weekend.
A Harry Potter 400 millió $2090-ben.
When Modern Warfare 2 came out, video game, sold 4.7 million copies in the first 24 hours. When Transformers came out, 8.3 million units in the first week of Transformers. These are probably in your house. Right? A year ago, Apple launched the iPhone 4S. When Siri was introduced, right? Did 1 million phones in its first day. And then Apple broke their own record a month ago when Apple launched the iPhone 5 and they did 2 million in the first day. The biggest single product launch of all time, right?
Ez a legnagyobb product launch, ami a világon volt valami.
Let's do some math. You're good at math.
Csináljunk.
Let's assume, we don't know the number for sure, but let's assume that Apple revenues $300 for each iPhone 5.
Feltételezzük azt, hogy $300 volt mindegyik, amit eladtak.
Times 2 million phones,
Szorozva 2 millióval.
that's $600 million.
600 millió dollár.
First day.
Az első napon a forgalom.
That's a big launch. Okay. How big is Apple?
Milyen nagy? 75 billion.
120 billion plus. Apple, 120 billion.
Tehát, hogy mekkora az Apple, több mint 120 millió
How big's Nu Skin this
milliárd
year?
dolláros.
How big's Nu Skin this year? 2.1 billion. Yep, over 2 billion. We will do more than 2 billion this year in Nu Skin. So we are 60 times smaller than Apple. 60 times smaller. That's a huge company, right?
60 része vagyunk.
Listen to me.
Annyival kisebbek.
Annyival kisebbek
vagyunk, bennük 2 milliárd dollár.
To think that a company the size of Nu Skin could approach the iPhone 5 launch volume during our LTO is like unthinkable.
It is.
We're going to do it.
People stand in front of the TV.
The launch of Gamma is going to be hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
A Gammának a piacra helyezése sok $100 millió
At the world headquarters of Nu Skin, there's a group of people that is called Global Product Supply. Their job is to produce enough gamma for everybody in the world for next October. They have to build enough product. Can you even imagine the pressure on Nu Skin's supply chain? I mean, you know a little bit about manufacturing. Can you even imagine trying to produce this much product and get it all over the world into different warehouses at the right time? So on October 24th, have it all shipped.
Elképzelhetetlen mennyiségű munka, szervezés, hogy arra a napra mindenhol az egész világon ott legyen az összes gamma termék, amire szükség van. Elképesztő munka.
So right now, the different regions of Nu Skin, like Southeast Asia, China, Japan, North America, Europe, all these regions are placing their orders now for next October with global product support.
Minden régió most
minden régió azért dolgozik, hogy előkészítse ezt a gamma vezetést.
Guess how much China wants? What do you think China's pre-order is for Gamma?
350 million. 400.
They ordered 400 million of Gamma just for China. Now, they're not going to get that much because we literally can't supply the whole world with those kinds of numbers, okay? But they're going to probably get a couple hundred million. Okay, we're going to do 75 million in North America at a minimum. We're going to do 75 million. You guys in Europe are going to do about 100 million, okay? There's Southeast Asia wants 100 million. I mean, you just start adding up the numbers, it's at least 500. It's probably closer to 700 million. That's about the max that Nu Skin can even produce and have it ready. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me closely, okay? I don't know how much you will eventually get in Europe, but I can tell you one thing will happen. It will sell out. It will sell out. I don't know how much they're going to give us in North America, but we're going to sell it out. Okay? Nu Skin is trying to produce an app for your iPhone or your Android that will be available about July where you can pre-order your Gamma.
Yeah.
So starting in July, you can start to pre-order and count the volume up. Okay? All those pre-orders that start coming in are going to consume the supply. You've got to be ready. You need to have your plan in place now, or you could get shut out with your team. Now, what's the advantage that you guys have in Eastern Europe? What's your advantage you have in Eastern Europe? Right now, you have an advantage. What do you think it is?
We're on fire.
You are on fire, but you've had a very successful LTO that is going to produce the biggest bonus checks that you've ever seen in your groups next month. So what you guys have is you have proof. You've got the physical proof that the LTO process works. So that means that your teams have an advantage because there's more proof among your teams to incorporate many, many more of your leaders this time in a very serious LTO for Gamma. Okay, we have 9 minutes. I'm going to go through the rest of these real fast to the end, okay? Nu Skin's expanding. You'll see this today if you haven't been down there. It's awesome. This is the China expansion, right? Okay? Nu Skin has had more accolades than you can even list. People just continue to say, this company has it all right here, right? These are the compensation numbers for 2011. I want you to notice that the diamonds went up 9,000 and the blue diamonds went up 19,000 over the previous year in terms of average income. Okay. Over 8 billion has been paid in commissions. This year, we will likely clip 9 billion by the end of the year. 9 billion. Okay. Last year, we paid 750 million in commissions. This year, with more than 2 billion, we'll pay more than 900 million this year. Next year will be our first $1 billion commission year. In 2010, we made a new millionaire every 6 days. In 2011, we made a new millionaire every 5 days. In 2012, we're making a new millionaire every 4 days now. That's 839 and counting, right? In 5 years from now, we'll make a new millionaire every day. What will they write about us then? Will they be constrained to admit that it's one of the greatest opportunities ever, even when they don't want to? These are the packages that we're now pushing in the U.S. My Victory Original and my Victory Protein Boost. These two are the ones we're going to sell the most of the next 50 weeks while we get ready for Gamma. We're going to teach people weight loss starting now. Okay? So we tell people, you know, buy 1 or 2 of those packages if you want to just use them and be a happy consumer or distributor. If you want to be a leader and you want to go for LOI status and executive status, then you buy 3. Okay? That's how that works. Okay, so this is our products. You guys don't have this one, I don't believe. Right? That's too bad because that's a really great product. Talk to Mikhail Linder, okay? Yeah, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, vegan safe. This is a great product.
Nathan made that happen. That was
So,
Nathan's work.
here we go, guys. 1.7 billion last year. We're going to do 5 billion. No question about it. Kenton has a video of a very much younger Nathan Ricks on a VHS tape standing in front of a small group making a prediction that we'd do $1 billion someday. Kenton has the proof. Okay? And
He was 29 years old. Like,
that was the year that New Skin did $45 million in total revenue. And I'm standing up there saying, watch, someday we'll do $1 billion.
Van egy videója, amikor 450 millió volt még a cég forgalma, és Nathan arról beszélsz, hogy igen, meg lesz, amikor $1 millió fog.
And you can see people in the audience kind of roll their eyes like, right? You know? Wish we could find those people now. Mark my words, guys. We're going to do 5 billion. We are. It's going to happen. Okay? All right. So this is the last slide. When we opened Japan, the first year was the core piece of the pie. And the people that worked before it ever opened, they carved off certain pieces of this pie for themselves. And it has paid them for the rest of their lives. The launch of Gamma is the biggest entry point we've ever had in this company's history. It is going to be massive, okay?
A Gammának a launcha az lesz a legnagyobb entry point, ami valaha is történetében volt.
If you can focus for the next 50 weeks and make sure you carve off a core piece of the Gamma pie for yourself, here's what
Ha
happens.
50 hétig most tudsz fókuszálni, akkor egy nagy szerepet fogsz kapni.
New Skin management has already said they're working on another product called Alpha, codename Alpha, that'll launch in 2015. It'll be a global launch. Notice that if you capture this piece of the pie, it just gets bigger. Did you see that?
Yes.
And then they have another one in 2017. They've got another blockbuster for 19. They're already working on these products right now. Okay? That's what happens. This is why the core piece is so critical. It doesn't mean that in your downline somebody starts out here with 2017. They can still carve their own piece out here. Right? And other people over here.
Ezért most ez a következő 50 hét a legfontosabb, mert ez fogja meghatározni azt, hogy ebből a termékvezetéséből tulajdonképpen mekkora szeleted lesz a tortából.
This is why you want to be very serious over the next 50 weeks, because it can transform your whole future. Forever, financially.
Ezt a következő 50 hetet most nagyon komolyan kell venni, mert ez az, ami teljesen megváltoztatja a jövődet.
Kenton, will you put this in that drawer right behind you? Thank you.
and you know what we need to do?
One picture, please.
No, we'll have everybody, because you're going to run out. Should we have everybody stand in front of the building, Nate, and then you just step
Let's
in
do
and
it.
we'll shoot it. Okay, everybody,
Out.
don't use the bathroom.